Neurodiversity, I think, implies that it implies difference to the typical. This episode, I wanted to talk about my neurodiversity and how, instead of implying or having it framed as if it makes life difficult, I wanted to talk about it in the context of my business and my life and my learning, and how I've embraced it so that it's become a strength. My neurodiversity is a strength of mine, and because I'm not wired in the same way as the neurotypical, quote unquote neurotypical, I am able to do things differently and get different results. And I want to share this with you. That's a framing. What I've just done there is that's how I frame it for myself. And so this isn't just about me talking about me. I'm wanting to be here with you and hold some space to encourage you to take that on board, and how can you reframe your difference, your neurodiversity for yourself. But this is all in hindsight. Like, now I'm looking back over the struggle of, I say 7 years, the last 7 years, but I'm going to say it's been with me for my whole life. I'm just aware of it in the last 7 years. Maybe I start with, I just want to keep some structure here. And with my neurodiversity, I make space for myself for my business. When I left working for the mainstream to start Indigenuity, my practice for connecting more Māori families to their home, that was my core service or purpose of why I started the business. I had to design my own workplace, which is whoa, awesome, and also whoa, because you get used to living in an employment environment in New Zealand. Tikanga that allowed me to thrive was my plan, was what I wanted to achieve. I was able to decolonise my workplace and then design my systems according to what made sense to me. And that's been a process, right? I'm in year 7 of my business. It's been a process. The main po that has been stayed strong, that I've stuck to, is always to make it a priority. I don't mean to say that it has always been easy for other people working with me to understand, and that will play out. And so hence you'll see that's why I work with contractors, or I like to empower other people to work with me as their own business, as their own independent person, because I can't tolerate how employment systems, the normal employment environment, works. It doesn't sit well for me. And so when people come and want to work with me, when they bring that tikanga, I experience a clash with my neurodiverse beautiful self, and it wrecks my peace. So anyway, moving forward, my talk today is more about how I experience anxiety, in the past, depression, overwhelm, anger, I'm going to call it rage, when I'm consistently in environments that are hard work for me. Where I'm in an environment that supposedly neurotypical people are considered to be normal or tolerable, are not often spaces that I can feel normal or tolerate. I try to offer my professional services from a place of empathy, on the idea that my neurodiversity is more common than it is made out. I also believe in neuroplasticity, so the ability to change, but coming from a place of appreciating and holding space for my difference, my diversity, the fact that I'm wired differently. When I come from that space, I believe in neuroplasticity, the ability to create different pathways through consistent practice and discipline. So doing small things consistently and all the time, and therefore allowing myself time. We're talking months, weeks, years, 3 to 5 years of changing something every day has allowed me to build different pathways where now I can tolerate environments, conversations, and activities that maybe I couldn't have in the past. And that's from the consistent practice of new behaviors. So to carry on with the rest of my kōrero, I've put in the notes, and I'll read it out. Neurodiversity is a term used to describe neurological differences in the human brain. In other words, we are all wired differently, and our natural differences can have a direct impact on how we think and learn. And that's from the Auckland University website. I have put a link somewhere in our the post of this video, so you can read that. So they make space for people, neurodiversity. I'm not an expert on it, so I'm going to leave that for you to go and Google it and search more about it yourself. What I am an expert on is my human experience of it. And so I will probably unpack this over different episodes, but I really want to focus on the tools that I've used because tools are something that, because our neurodiversity is different amongst all of us and how we experience it, but tools can be the same, and tools that I use might be something you can use and implement in your day-to-day or in your business. So one of the first tools is, I've done an unboxing little video on my social media. So this is my second pair because I wore the first pair out. And beautifully, I paid for these, but these are Bose noise cancelling, or Bose, B-O-S-E, noise cancelling AirPods. They allow me, this is what they're like. Okay, they just fit in the ears. They allow me to be in places and in conversations, environments like wānanga, noho, conferences, what have you, and be incognito. So I can put my hair over, place my headband over, what have you, and I cancel out the noise that's around. So like, for example, they've turned on and I can no longer hear the traffic outside. I can't hear the background noise. And out of a big group of people, let's say I'm in a wānanga or 8 hours of learning and training, out of big groups of people, there's normally about 10 to 20% that infuriate me. Like, I can't handle their shit. I can't handle the sound of their voice, the octave, the constant chatter, or the fact that they want to relate and touch me and like check in. Like, there's just certain behaviors that make me feel threatened. And yet they're just being nice, and I don't like it. And if I go for too many hours around those kind of people, it just turns into overwhelm, and I just want to swear, hit. I don't. And so that's where the exhaustion comes from in life, is from constantly holding myself back into the realms of what is socially acceptable, instead of being able to go, shut up, or you're grating me. And so these really help, because noise cancelling means I can be in the room, I can be in the environment, and I can tune out. It also limits the pathways of information that are coming into me. So reading things on a presentation, listening to someone constantly talk, because people don't talk with full stops these days. Like, that's a full stop. Pause, have a breath. And so that, plus the thinking, plus the reading, plus the visuals, plus the sound, plus the background chatter, plus some people who have anxiety that plays out by them jittering and being flighty, all of that means I can't hear what the hell the point is, that we're there, whatever we're meant to be doing, I can't process it. So does this mean I'm neurodiverse, or does it mean that I'm just a straight up human being that doesn't like wasted energy? Well, I'm having one go with myself about that anyway. But tools wise, I don't leave home without my noise cancelling earbuds. Those allow me to be public because they're discreet. But I also carry noise cancelling Bose headphones. So these are more of a visual thing, like I'm in public on a bus or I'm traveling somewhere and I put noise cancelling on, or I'm walking through the streets, and I can have them where 50% of the noise is dulled down. So I'm still aware and can hear things, but it just reduces the number of pathways that are like bombarding me. And I just can keep my focus and energy on where I'm going, what I'm doing. But these ones are great because they allow people to know to please step away. I'm not available. And I often don't always have music going through my earbuds. I just have the noise cancelling on. So that really helps me. Just reduces the pathways that I have, that I'm stimulated. The next thing is I have invested in a remarkable, compared to an iPad, they are expensive. Okay, so it's like you get them, you'll see them on social media. They're about $900. Sounds expensive. Greatest thing I ever invested in. It is like a paper. It's like the feel of paper and acts like paper. Connected to the Wi-Fi, so I can synchronize with my computer, but there is no social media, there is no anything else except being able to write on it like a real life paper notebook, do sketches, draw things, sign contracts, so I can download PDFs to it for my work with legal documents, PDFs, bills, whatever, save them on here, and then sign them in real life, not just do a digital signature, but actually, let's change the font there. Let's undo that. But actually write my own beautiful notes, feeling like there's no lights on it, so it doesn't trigger, the blue lights aren't always good for your brain activity. This is my remarkable. And it's like having unlimited paper, digital paper, okay, where I can write my own books, write my own notes, I can convert it into text as well, and then email it directly from here. I have a folder for everything, every PDF, every contract I need to sign, I put it in here. So it has function and simplicity, without the lights, without the dings, without the social media. It's simple, systematic recording of my documents, and it just lowers the stimulation of like Bing and emails and everything like that. I deal with whatever's in that little pad. The next thing is I want to show you something. Might not make a lot of sense until I just present my screen. And this is, okay. So what I'm showing you here is my privacy document. And you're like, yeah, it's a Word doc. It's a privacy document. It's my privacy policy for my business. And at the bottom, I tell everybody, this is all done by my New Zealand lawyers, how their information is used, what I do with it. And then I have an everyday version of it, okay, that I pop into pop-ups so that when you come to my website, you understand how I'm using your information. Now, why I'm showing you this is because it's not the document I'm showing you. I, over the last few months, have subscribed to an amazing service. And the service is, let me go and end that presentation. If you're listening to this on Spotify, this Spotify podcast is in a video version, and you are able to check out the video version of this podcast on Spotify and watch it. So I'm sharing a screen at the moment. I'm going to stop sharing. I subscribe to a service and it costs me something like $250 per week, but it gets me unlimited commercial legal advice. Oh my gosh, it's changed my experience of business. So that's about $1,000 a month, something like that. I think I get a discount because I've signed up for a few years, but it's a place where I park my worries. Like how we do on Mondays with my grief center, I take my worries and I park them with my lawyer. I log into lawyers. It's a group team of lawyers throughout Australia and New Zealand. I log into a portal. I request a job. Let's say I want a privacy policy for my website. I want to have a contract so that I can sell carvings and weavings on commission, consignment, on my website. I want to have a seller's agreement. I want to know whether I should register my company as a franchise or how I should structure my ownership of my shares. I want to send a license to occupy to my tenants, my commercial tenants. I want to create terms and conditions for my business to send out to my customers. Oh my gosh, unlimited. Whatever I need to be done in my business that requires a lawyer, because lawyers and the relationship used to take me months and weeks to get a result, and I would carry all of this anxiety of like the urgency. My little Māori business just wasn't urgent priority for any lawyer. But with this subscription, man, it's just changed my life. They have a turnaround period. You choose the date you want to book in to do a 20-minute to 30-minute discussion with them to make sure that what I've requested in the portal, they understand what I want. And 7 days later, they have it back to me. They have commercial teams for everything you need in a normal business. It's incredible. And it's just helped me to relieve the energy that I used to put towards that kind of thing. And now I can focus it on myself, my well-being in the business, and my content for my customers. So that's a legal subscription plan. If you're listening to this in the podcast or on YouTube, just pop me a comment that you would like to know more, and I'm happy to reach out to you with the details of the business that I use. I'm sure there are plenty now, but it's a pretty new kind of concept. So we've done, the tools are my legal support. It's an investment too, that money. I promise you it's an investment. I used to try and do everything myself, and man, burnout is for real. So my tools, my pad, my noise cancelling. What else? I think that might be it. Those are the first three things. Yeah, and of course, incorporating just imagine those places where you're in flow, your flow states. Imagine those places. And for me, it's sewing, or it is creating, or it is going to the beach and doing all of those things there, or working outside in the sunshine. And I've made those are my flow state. That's where my flow state happens. That's when time feels limitless, and also it goes in a moment. And any task I do in that state feels like I could do it forever. So identify those states. That's what I did. And then I've injected 2 or 3 of those into my work week. That's just part of my policy and procedure, my tikanga. Okay. And so reading emails really I really struggle with that, completely struggle with it. And so I just wiped it out of my business. I will periodically check them, but I check them for very specific reasons. I'm looking for an order, or to help a customer, or to answer a question for my podcast or my YouTube. And then I've also just defined what kind of client I want. So that's not because the clients aren't important in every way that you are, but I mean the client behavior. So if I'm someone who has a low tolerance for audible, like listening, and visual communication all at once, and background noise all at once, okay, and what I've tried to do is create the way to access me is through watching a number of different videos over time and responding to those videos or the tasks. Okay, so normally you do like a presentation, half an hour. I try to take what I need people to do and chop that one half an hour or 1 hour up into 5 or 6 portions and get them to watch it, respond, watch it, respond. All of those things are telling you about me and about what I expect, so that I know that by the time somebody has gone into video number 8, they are well versed in my personal tikanga, like the tikanga to engage with me. And therefore, once we get together, we have a mutual understanding. Because I identified that it was really harmful for my well-being if I went straight into meeting brand new people, having a download through my ears of information all about themselves, and also me having to take on board the visual, what I'm seeing when people act happy towards each other and act nice, the smiling, the connecting, the information is all a lot in one go. I can handle it over a number of different connections or occasions. And then what happens is with that, I am able to connect really deeply. I connect deeply to people, which is why I can't do it often and with many people all at once. And that's it. Designing a tikanga process, building it into the business, allowing the fact that many people, if they are not don't like it, then they might have to find someone else who can do the service the way they expect. But that way, the people who are attracted to me stay with me because I might be similar, or I might be the right thing for their nervous system. We might connect on that. But it's not rather about not liking a person or not liking wanting to be with clients or people or friendships. It's more about the way of tapping in. So I'm sure I'll come back to this another time. I hope there's been some things that are potentially useful for you. But have some bravery to design your own tikanga for what it means, so that what it means to work well with you. The tools, find the right tools. Get assistive technology, they call it. Dictating your notes onto Microsoft, smart pads like what I have for writing, and noise cancelling headphones, and knowing your limits, knowing that my strengths, if I stay within my limits, I'm actually a really strong person, and all of those things help me to manage my stress and anxiety, and then making sure I always communicate it to people first, just how we do on the marae. When you come to certain marae, they'll say it's tau utu or tau utu or pāeke is the tikanga or the kawa of the marae for the order of speaking. And that's just it. You know that before you get there. And so I've taken to letting people know before I get there, before we engage. And the other one, last thing I want to show you, I don't have my, but I think it's really good, is I like to prepare people by doing little online tests. This is an online test here. It's free. You do a quick quiz and it comes up with 1, 2, 3, 4 basic styles of communicating. We all are a mixture of more than one of these normally, but my predominant one is that I'm a planner, a planning communication style. So I tend to be goal orientated. Generally, I initiate a conversation to get specifics so that I can fulfill my responsibility to whoever I'm talking to. I like things in chronological order, step by step. And if you interrupt me, I am likely to feel like, doesn't mean I will, but I am compelled to want to start all over and explain things in an order that makes sense to me. And I like to complete my thoughts before switching subjects, which is why I tend to have a way of like, you go first, I'll go next. You go first, I'll go next. So underneath this, if you're looking on the video, seeing this on the video, I like to plan for what your communication style is and my customers, and I can adjust, I can pivot, I can work, and I can communicate to you in the way that you like. But for me, as a planning communication style, I like to be prepared, give details, stay on target, be consistent, show respect, don't interrupt, recognize contributions. Those are pretty much standard, just tikanga things, right? But really, it's not about doing these things for me. It's about me telling people, this is what I tend to be like. If you see it arise in our interaction, I don't want you to feel like it's something personal. That's my natural state. So I like to know what your natural state is. Yeah. And I just encourage people to be forthright, which this is my natural state. This is how my brain works. If you want to get the best out of me, please do these things. Hope that helps everybody. Mō ora.